welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We are kicking off the top 10 of our way too early top 25 schedule previews, and coming in at number 10, we have the Missouri Tigers, who shocked a lot of people in the college football world last year, going 11-2 with a big victory in the Cotton Bowl over Ohio State. And this team, guys, has a chance to be even better in 2024. So welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're so glad you could join us today, ready to break down the Tigers' schedule for this upcoming season, a schedule that is very, very favorable. As always, please continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com. We have a lot of exclusive content over there for you to help you get through this offseason. We want you to take advantage of it. We want you to sign up with us. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation, because the season will be here before we know it. And quite frankly, the season never even ends here at our channel. So go take advantage of it. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification button so you don't miss out on any of our future content coming your way over the next few months. Missouri, guys, 11-2 last year. You think maybe it's a one-hit wonder? No, it's not. Eli Drinkwitz is building something pretty special in Columbia. And you look at what they've got coming back. Brady Cook, a veteran quarterback, returns to lead the offense. Luther Burden, one of the better wide receivers in the SEC, returns this year. They do lose Cody Schrader at running back, but that's okay. They went out and got Marcus Carroll, who rushed for over 1,300 yards at Georgia State. He's going to replace him and probably be one of, if not the lead backs for Missouri this year. They do lose a lot on the defensive side of the ball. It was a strength for them last year. They lose their defensive coordinator in Blake Baker to LSU. But Eli Drinkwitz did a phenomenal job, not just in terms of replacing his staff, but also did a great job on the recruiting trail. Another elite recruiting class, not just with high school recruits, but also the transfer portal. And this is a Missouri team, guys, that last year would have made a 12-team playoff. Well, now the 12-team playoff is here. So will they actually do it this year? If it had been installed last year, they would be in. They would have had their shot. Now it's here. Can they do it? When you take a look at the schedule, it is so favorable to the point where I think they could. The first thing I see a couple things. First off, there is not a key stretch for Missouri. You know, if you've been watching our schedule previews for a lot of the teams, we say, hey, there's this stretch of 3 or 4 games that's going to really define their season. And I'm not really seeing that from Missouri. There are a couple of big games on the schedule, but there's not one stretch that I see that goes, ooh, that's going to be really, really difficult. If I had to pick one, it would probably be the entire month of October, where they have to play Texas A&M, Auburn, and Alabama. But even then, I don't think that's absolutely terrible. Another thing I look at, I think Missouri could probably be favored in 9 or 10 games this year. They very well could be favored in 9 to 10 games. And you look at who they avoid. They avoid Georgia. They avoid Tennessee. They avoid Texas. They avoid LSU. The non-conference, Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, and UMass. A road game at UMass, interestingly enough, is very, very weak. Boston College, the toughest game out of those, and they're dealing with a new coach, and Missouri gets them at home. So this is a really, really, really good schedule for the Tigers. Again, we're not predicting their schedule right now. But if you're a Missouri fan, you've got to be very happy with this. And if you're a Missouri fan, you're definitely expecting to go 4-0 in the month of September. 4-0 before your first bye week. Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, they're going to be favored probably pretty big in all of those games. Anything less than 4-0 is a disappointment. It's also to be noted that Missouri does not leave their stadium. They don't leave Missouri until October 5th. That's huge. So the scheduled week to start, they don't leave Missouri until October 5th when they go to Texas A&M, and that's where things are going to start to get difficult to an extent, right? College Station is not easy by any means. The two most, old newcomers now, we had Missouri and Texas A&M came in. They were the newcomers back over 10 years ago, and now we've got 2 more coming in Texas and Oklahoma. But this is going to be an interesting game here. An A&M team that we don't know what to expect much of this year. First-year head coach and Mike Elko. Can they start turning things around? Huge, though, that Missouri gets a week of rest prior to this game. Week of rest and a week of preparation to go into one of the more hostile environments in the entire country. Then they get UMass. I think that's probably going to be a win there, right? We're not predicting anything, but some of these are pretty self-explanatory. But the road game is going to be interesting. Good for UMass to be able to host an SEC team. Auburn and Alabama in back-to-back weeks. Auburn at home is huge. This is a team that had a losing record last year, went 6-7, got annihilated in their bowl game against Maryland. Should improve in year 2 under Hugh Freeze, but enough to beat a Missouri team that won 11 games last year and had a lot of talent coming back. I'm not sure. Alabama on the road. Again, Alabama team that loses a lot of talent, loses Nick Saban. the Crimson Tide, especially at home, are still not going to be a pushover. They're not going to be a slouch. This is still a team that under Kalen DeBoer, who's a phenomenal head coach, one of the best coaches in the country, isn't just going to roll over and be done. We're not saying we expect Alabama to be like the Nick Saban-led teams, but we're also not saying we expect Alabama to go from a team that was a play or two away from making the national championship last year to becoming a 6 or 7 win team this year. That's just not very realistic either. So that's a big game. It's one that Missouri can win, but on the road in Tuscaloosa, it's very, very tough. Not many teams can win there. You look at the schedule up until that point, going into their second bye week on November 2nd. I really think Missouri, if they want their shot at the college football playoff, they've got to be 6-2 or better heading in to that Oklahoma game. I think if you were predicting Missouri's schedule at a first glance, you might chalk up A&M and Alabama as the 2 losses. We're not predicting that right now at all. But obviously those are their 2 toughest games. And their first 8 games, their 2 toughest games are A&M and Alabama, both of those coming on the road. If Missouri takes care of business against the teams they should and somehow wins one of those games, if they are 7-1 or 8-0, watch out. This is a top 4 team already heading into the month of November. 6-2 or better, though, still puts them in the hunt, and that Oklahoma game will determine whether or not they can get to the playoff or not. Because here's the thing. Those final 3 games of the year, at South Carolina, at Mississippi State, and Arkansas, all 3 of those teams finished with a losing record last year. All 3 of those teams, I don't think many of them have high expectations. South Carolina's got a lot of new pieces they've got to figure out. Mississippi State's got a new coach. Arkansas was abysmal. You know, that Missouri beat South Carolina 34-12 last year. They beat Arkansas 48-14 last year. Those teams, all 3 of those teams, I expect to improve from last season. I would expect the Gamecocks, the Bulldogs, the Razorbacks all to be a little bit better. But still, all of them had a losing record. Missouri, in theory, is going to be favored in all 3 of those games, which means that Oklahoma game at home, off a week of rest, is massive. An old Big 12 matchup. If Missouri wins that game and then takes care of business down the stretch, you could see them with at least 10 wins. With at least 10 wins, possibly. If they lose that game, they finish 9-3. If that's indeed what happens, then you're really kind of like on the bubble of that 12-team playoff, probably not going to get in with 3 losses. It kind of depends on how the rest of the country shapes out. So I'm telling you, there's 3 massive games on Missouri's schedule that's going to define their season. There's not a key stretch. Their biggest games, A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma. 2 of those are on the road. 1 of them is at home to kick off November for them, off a week of rest. If Missouri goes in and takes care of business, enters that Oklahoma game at 6-2 or better, that will ultimately decide and determine their entire season. This is a big, big year for Eli Drinkwitz and the Tigers. I wouldn't say maybe exceeded expectations, but maybe they surprised a lot of people last year. They're riding a lot of momentum. They're building something. They've got the talent. They've got the schedule. Will the Tigers make the 12-team playoff? We're not here to predict it just yet, but based on everything we see from a roster standpoint, a coaching standpoint, a schedule standpoint, everything is lining up for them to do so. They just have to take advantage of it. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, share our videos, and check out everything down in the description below, including our website, thegridironexpert.com. We want you to become a member of our GE Nation and be with us as we produce college football content 24/7, 365. Do not miss out. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.